Hello everyone, welcome to lecture 1 of segment reporting that is covered under Accounting Standard 70. So we'll be looking in this chapter in detail how to do the reporting of various segments of an enterprise. But before we move ahead in this chapter, let us first understand what are segments and then what is segment reporting. See, segments are components of business enterprise made on the basis of products or services and areas. Each of such component is exposed to different risk and return. So what is a component? Part of a business unit. You can make a part of a business unit on the basis of its products or services. For example, if we talk about Tata, then Tata is selling cars also, iron and steel also. Within its car, it may be selling SUV, it may be selling normal sedan car, it may be selling small car like Nano. Okay, if we take an example of Hindustan Unilever, then they are into so many different kind of products. They are not only into FMCG products. If we talk about ITC company, okay, Indian Tobacco Company, they are not only manufacturing cigarettes, they manufacture other than cigarettes, these grocery items also. They are into hotel industry also. So what are these? These are the various products or services which they are making. Plus they operate at various different areas. If we talk about our UL classes, then in UL classes we coach on 11th and 12th schooling section also. Then BCom, FY, SYTY, BCom section also. This year we started with first year BBS coaching also. Then we coach on CA, CS. So BBA entrance exams, MBA entrance exams, foreign studies. So what are these? These are the various components of our enterprise. Plus areas. So we operate at OP Road is our head office, central office. We have branches at Subhanpura, Pratapnagar, Nizampura, Karalibagh, Varashia, Sama, Gotri. So these are also various components of our enterprise. Therefore, if you read the sentence, segments are components of business enterprise made on the basis of products or services. Products or services, 11-12 schooling section. Again, we can have Gujarat Board CBSE also in that. Then BCom section, then professionals, CA, CS, then entrance exams based BBA, foreign studies, etc. These are components on the basis of products or service. And then areas. Areas means Subhanpura, OP Road, Pratapnagar, Nizampura, Varashia, Karalibagh, Sama, Gotri. So on the basis of products or services and areas. And each of such component is exposed to different risk and return. You'll agree that the risk and return in schooling section is different. The risk and return in professional CACS is totally different. Returns are also different. Risk are also different. Chances of passing percentage in those professional studies is very less. So they are exposed to different risk and return. Same way if we talk about ITC company, hotel industry they operate. The risk and return in hotels is totally different. The risk and returns in cigarette sector is totally, tobacco sector is totally different. The risk and return in FMCG, fast manufacturing consumer goods which they sell, like this biscuits, etc. That is also totally different. So risk and return in product is also different and each area is also different. Information about multiple products or services and its operation in different geographical areas is called segment information. Now what is segment information? Information about the revenue of each segment. So if we are talking about schooling section, then schooling's revenue. If we talk about that hotels sector of ITC, hotels revenue. We talk about the expenses, segment expenses. We talk about segments assets, segments liabilities. All this information. Which information? Information of segment revenue, information of segment expenses, information of segment assets, information of segment liabilities, and many more such things are called segment information. Okay, they are called segment information. So information about multiple products or services and its operations. Operations means revenue, expenses, assets, liabilities in different geographical areas is called segment information. And now what is segment reporting? Disclosure of such information is called segment reporting. Means disclosing and informing this information, conveying this information to the shareholders is called segment reporting. So you all can pause the video and write these things in your notebook. You first write down what are segments, then you write what is segment information, and then you write what is segment reporting. So what is segment reporting? Disclosure or giving of information to the shareholders of the company is called segment reporting. What is the subject we are studying? Financial reporting. So everything we are going to study in this subject is about the reporting to shareholders. Okay. So you can pause the video and write it down. I'm moving ahead. Now, which are the various types of segments which are possible? As we discussed in the definition, that segments are components on the basis of products or services and areas. So there are two types of segments which are possible. You have to write this in your notebook. I repeat, you have to write this in your notebook. There are two types of segments which are possible. One is business segments and the other is geographical segments. Now, business segments, as we discussed, on the basis of product or services. Like I gave you the example in case of UWIL classes. Business segments would be school section, college section, professionals, then BBA, MBA entrance section, then foreign studies. These are various business segments. These are the various products or services we offer. You can also say online segment, offline segment. There are also various business segments, various products or services that we offer. So what are business segments? Segment is made on the basis of products or services which are exposed to different risk and return. Everywhere risk and return should be different. Whenever anything can be classified on the basis of a different risk or return, then only we can say that it is a business segment. Here I have given you an example of Reliance Industries. You can see that Reliance Industries deals in so many different kinds of products. Reliance Fresh is there, which deals in vegetables and groceries. Reliance Super is there. Reliance Mart is there. Reliance Digital is there. Reliance Trends is there, which is related to the clothing section. Reliance Footprints are there, which is related to the shoes and slippers, etc. Footwears. Then Reliance iStore is there, which deals in computers, mobiles, etc. Reliance Market is there. Jewels is there. Times is there. AutoZone is there. Reliance Living is there. So many different. Reliance Jio you can see is there. So Reliance deals in so many different kinds of products. What are these? Each and every product it is supplying, it is a business segment. Now if we go ahead with geographical segments, then as I gave you the example in UWIL classes, schooling, college, then professionals, BBA entrance, MBA entrance, these are all different types of business segments. And if we classify on the basis of geographical segments, then you can say OP Road, Subhanpura, Gotri, Sama, Bharashia, Karalibag, Nizampura, Pratapnagar are different geographical segments. Okay. If I take the examples, then segment here is made on the basis of its operations in different geographical areas, which are exposed to different risk and return. Now again, when we take on the basis of geographical segment or area, there are further two types of segments. One is on the basis of operation, means area of its operation. That is where it produces the goods or supplies the goods or services, or the location of its assets, where its assets, plant and machineries, etc. are located. So one is on the basis of its operations. For example, if we talk about Tata, then Tata manufactures or has a manufacturing car units, plant units at Pantnagar, Lucknow, Sanand, Ranjangaon, Pune, Dharwad, Jamshedpur. What are these? These are the different geographical segments on the basis of its production, on the basis of its location of assets, where it is producing these cars. And second is on the basis of customers. That is where goods are supplied or services are rendered, where your customers are located. So if I consider, suppose Lamborghini, you would all heard about the Lamborghini. It is an ultra luxurious car. It has very limited market segment in India because of being very premium executive luxurious car. So it has its branches or showrooms only in 3 cities in India. One is in Mumbai, second is in Delhi, and third is in Bangalore. So what are these? These are the various, you can say, segments on the basis of geographical location of customers. Because it is a very premium executive car, Generally, you won't find the customers of such cars in small cities. Therefore, presently Lamborghini has opened its showrooms only in three places: Mumbai, Delhi and Mangalore. So what are these Mumbai, Delhi and Mangalore? These are the segments on the basis of its customers. Okay. So once again, look at it, and everyone must have written it. There are two types of segments: business segments and geographical segments. Business segment means on the basis of product or service, and everywhere you have to mention which are exposed to different risk and return. Geographical segment means on the basis of geographical area, again which are exposed to different risk and return. Within geographical area, it can be the area of operations, where you are producing the goods, where your plant and machinery etc. is located, or on the basis of customers, where your customers are located, where you are selling the goods, where you are providing your services. I hope everyone is clear with the types of segments. You can pause the video and note it down if you have not noted it. Now we go to the practical aspect in this chapter, that is identification of reportable segments. Give this heading in your notebooks. We will be studying 3 basic steps and conditions plus 2 additional steps and conditions, and your practical questions in the chapter will be based on these steps: how to identify the reportable segments. So all of you give this heading in your notebooks: identification of reportable segments. In that, first you write down basic conditions. I'll be explaining this to you with the help of an example, so understand it carefully. Example you may not write, just write the conditions, and then we are going to solve the practical examples based on the same. 3 basic conditions are there. First is segment revenue condition. You remember segment revenue condition. What is a condition? If the segment's total revenue means internal plus external. Now what is internal revenue? Internal revenue means, suppose, let us say that a particular showroom is there of a company in Baroda as well as in Ahmedabad. Now in Ahmedabad a product is desired, or demand is there, which is not there in their showroom in Ahmedabad. So Baroda directly sends that product to Ahmedabad. This is called inter-segment revenue for Baroda, because Baroda has supplied this to Ahmedabad unit of the same company. Ahmedabad unit will further sell it to the customer. For Ahmedabad it will become external revenue. For Baroda unit segment it will be internal revenue. For Ahmedabad it will be external revenue. Overall for the company it's going to be external revenue. So segment, but here we are talking about segment. So if the segment's total revenue, internal plus external, is at least 10% of total revenue of all segments, it must be reported. So 10% you all remember as the basic criteria. More than 10%, anything which is more than 10% means it is significant. Anything which is more than 10% means it is significant, and that information must be given to the shareholders. So if any of your segments revenue, total internal plus external, crosses 10% of total revenue of all segments, then you have to report that segment's all informations, incomes, that is revenues, expenses, assets, liabilities, etc., to the shareholders. That segment must be known to the shareholders. See, understand it with the help of an example. This example you may not write. Suppose we say that there are 4 segments in a company: A, B, C, D, and let us say we have the total. Now if I talk about the revenue, segment A's revenue is 15 lakhs. Okay, these all are in lakhs. Segment B's revenue is 60 lakhs. C's revenue is 120 lakhs, means 1 crore 20 lakhs, and D's revenue is 5 lakhs. Now what is the total? Do it: 15 plus 60, 75 plus 120, 195 plus 5, 200. Total revenue of all the segments is 200 for the company. It has total 4 segments only. Total revenue of all segments finally to the company comes to how much amount? 200 lakhs, means 2 crore rupees. Now what is this 200 lakhs 10%? I repeat, what is this 200 lakhs 10%? 20 lakhs. Which segments you find have more than or at least 20 lakhs of revenue? Segment B, which is 60. A doesn't fall in that category, it is less than 20. 15 is less than 20. Segment C, that is 120, is more than 20. And segment D also does not fall in that category, it is less than 20. So as per the revenue condition, Which segment's information you must report to the shareholders as per this condition? Segment B and C must be reported to the shareholders. I hope everyone is clear with this condition. So note it down in your notebook. As per the segment revenue condition, if the segment's total revenue, that is internal plus external, is at least 10% of total revenue of all segments, it must be reported. Now, segment's results condition. Results means profit or loss. So if the segment's result, that is profit or loss, is at least 10% of, now this is important, be attentive, is at least 10% of total absolute profits or total absolute losses of all segments, whichever is higher, it must be reported. First, let us understand what is this total absolute profits or total absolute losses with the help of an example. Suppose the profit is earned in segment A of 5 lakhs, C of 55 lakhs, then we can say total profit earned in segment A and C is 60 lakhs. Suppose the loss incurred in segment B is 5 lakhs and in segment D is 10 lakhs, then we can say total loss incurred in both the segments is 15 lakhs. Now, first you do the total profits of all the segments. Total profits of all the segments, only A and C are in profits is 60 lakhs. Then you do the total losses of all the segments. Only B and D are in losses, the total loss is 15 lakhs. Which one is higher? Ignore the negative sign, I repeat, ignore the negative sign. Just compare 60 and 15. Okay, take modulus. You understand in statistics, modulus means all positive. No negative are to be taken. So just compare the total profit 60, total losses 15. Which one is higher of the two? 60 is higher than 15. That is the meaning of that sentence. Look at it. Total absolute profits or total absolute losses of all segments, whichever is higher. What are the total absolute profits? 60. Or total absolute losses? 15. Which one is higher? 60. So ignore the negative sign, 60, and maybe if loss was 75, then ignore the negative sign, 60 and 75, which one is higher? 75. Here, 60 is higher. Now you do 10% of 60. What is 10% of 60? 6. I repeat, what is 10% of 60 only? 6. Now, does segment A has more than 6 lakhs of profit or loss? Does segment A has more than 6 lakhs of profit or loss? No, it's only 5. It will not be reported as per this condition. Does segment B has more than 6 lakhs of profit or loss? No, only 5. Ignore the negative sign. I repeat, ignore the negative sign. Does it have more than 6 lakhs of loss or profit? No, it won't be reported. Segment C, what is the profits? 55. Does it have more than 6 lakhs of profit or loss? Yes. So segment C will be reported. Segment D is 10 lakhs. Does it have more than 6 lakhs of profit or loss? Yes. So it will be reported. Yes. So which segments will be reported as per the segment's results condition? Segment C and D will be reported as per the segment's results condition because their profit or loss is more than 10% of absolute profit or loss, whichever is higher. I hope everyone is clear with segment's results condition. What you are supposed to do, first find the total profits, then you find the total losses, then you take whichever is higher, So total profit 60, total losses 15. Which one is higher? 60 is higher. Now you take 10% of that, that is 6. So whichever profit or loss exceeds 6 will be reported. Here C and D will be reported. Okay. So you all can see if we combine the two conditions, revenue condition and results condition, then by now which segments have to be reported? As per the revenue condition, B and C are to be reported. As per the results condition, C and D are to be reported. Means we have to report by now B, C and D. B, C and D segments have to be reported to the shareholders. Now, segment assets condition. If segment's assets are at least 10% of total assets of all segments, it must be reported. So, in case of assets, they must be at least 10% of total assets of all segments, then it must be reported. Understand it with the help of an example. Suppose the total assets in segment A are 20 lakhs B are 75 lakhs, C are 100 lakhs, and D are 25 lakhs. So again do 20 plus 75, 95 plus 100, 195 plus 25, 220 lakhs of assets are there. Now what is 220 lakhs 10%? 220 lakhs 10% is 22 lakhs. Is A exceeding 22 lakhs? No, A need not be reported. Is B exceeding 22 lakhs? Yes, it is 75 lakhs. It will be reported. Is C exceeding 22 lakhs? Yes, it is 100 lakhs of assets. It will be reported. Is D exceeding 22 lakhs? Yes, it is 25 lakhs of assets. It will be reported. So as per the assets condition, which segments are to be reported? B, C and D, which has 75, 100 and 25 lakhs of assets, which are more than 10% of total assets, 220 lakhs. Now, as per the first condition, revenue, B and C are to be reported. Second condition, results, C and D are to be reported. Third condition, assets, B, C and D are to be reported. So finally, we will say segments B, C, D are reportable segments. Okay. So even in any one condition, if any segment falls, it is to be reported. I repeat, out of these three conditions, even in any one condition the segment falls, it has to be reported. All of you must note down these conditions in your notebook. Now these are the three basic conditions, plus there are two additional conditions also. What is the first additional condition? At least 75% of total revenue should be included in the reportable segments. If it is not so, then additional segments must be reported to make it up to or unto 75%. Means, what is the total revenue you see in the above example? 200 lakhs. Once again, what is the total revenue you see in the above example? 200 lakhs. What is 75% of 200 lakhs? 150 lakhs. What is 75% of 200 lakhs? 150 lakhs. Which segments are we reporting? B, C and D. Does it cross 75% revenue of total segments counted? B has 60 lakhs of revenue. C has 120 lakhs of revenue. D has 5 lakhs of revenue, which we are going to report. So 60 plus 120, 180 plus 5, 185 does cross 150. 99% it will cross only. But in case, suppose it does not cross, then you have to include segment A also, so that it becomes 75% of your total revenue. So if you have 10 segments, if you have 10 different segments, as per the first three conditions, revenue, results and assets, only 6 segments out of 10 are to be reported. But when you count the 6 segments total revenue, it does not consist of 75% of total revenue. Then you will include any 1 or 2 out of the remaining 4 segments also to be reported to the shareholders. Okay. So at least 75% of total revenue should be included in the reportable segments. If it is not so, then you have to include more segments of your choice. Any more segments of your choice, so that the revenue goes up to 75%. Any segment recorded in past must be reported in the current year. So suppose if A segment here was reported in the last year, then even if it does not fulfill the 3 conditions in the current year, it has to be reported. Any segment reported in the last year has to be reported in the current year. Now, why all these rules and conditions have been made? To protect the interest of shareholders. Otherwise, what do the companies do? Loss-making units, they don't report to the shareholders. False information they give to the shareholders. So, accounting standard has made such rules and conditions, and every company has to follow that. Okay, they have made such rules and conditions that vital information, if it is a very minute segment, suppose any company is having 200 crores of business, and there is one segment which is having only 1 or 2 lakhs of business, then that is a very small amount in against the 200 crores. Even if it is in loss, that 2 lakhs of segment is in a loss of 20-30,000, you don't report to the shareholders, it does not make any difference. So these conditions are made in such a manner that if there is any segment having significant amounts, either in revenue or in results or in assets, then that information must go to the shareholders. Okay. One more thing. These are minimum reportable segments. If any company wants, they can report more than that. So here also B, C, D are reportable. But if company wants, company can report A also, because it is earning a profit of 5 lakhs. So company may believe that why should I not report A segment? It is finally making a profit only. Let me inform to the shareholders. So if you report A, B, C and D, then also it's fine. Minimum information what you have to report to the shareholders is segments B, C and D. More than that, it is company's choice. They can report to the shareholders any segment that they want. Okay. So I hope everyone is clear with the basic conditions and the rules how to identify which segments are reportable. Next lecture we will take up with its practical questions.